Hey guys, Heather Catlin here with actor David Oyelowo, who's starring in the new movie Don't Let Go, out August 30th. Thank you so much for joining me.
My pleasure.
I have to start out with a really intense question.
Okay.
How wrong do people get your last name?
Well, they get it so wrong that I'm just glowing with how well you just pronounced it.
I did practice, I'm not gonna lie.
Thank you for that. Yes. Thank you. No, I have a myriad of wrong pronunciations I could run by you, but I'm just gonna bask in the fact that you got it right.
Thank you. Yes, I have an easy last name. It's Catlin, but I get Caitlin all the time, so I cannot even imagine.
Okay. Yeah.
Cannot even imagine.
No, people just keep on going. You just go stop. Just stop.
Just
less O's.
I like that. I like that. Okay, you are starring and producing in this new movie, Don't Let Go, kind of like a time-traveling murder thriller.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a hard one to pin down. There's a time travel element, there's a psychological thriller element, there's a love story in there, an unconventional love story between an uncle and a niece. There's a lot of action in it also, but that's kind of what I loved about it. It's a genre movie in the true sense, but at the core of it is this beautiful relationship between an uncle and a niece.
What is the balance when you're producing and starring in a film?
It's a tough balance to strike. There are points as an actor when I'm producing where you just have to be a bit selfish and just say, okay, I'm going to put everything aside in terms of the logistics of the movie. So a lot of my work will be in pre-production, the development of the film, the casting of the film. You know, sometimes it's pulling together the finances, but then when you're actually shooting, you kind of hand that over to the director and the other producers and just say, look, I've got to focus on this role. It's a hard thing to do because I'm a perfectionist, so sometimes I will go, okay, are we okay? Okay, and then I go back in, and then I really pick it back up in post-production with all the editing, and then the marketing, and then the eventual release.
We know you've been acting. You starred as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in Selma. You've been in many other films and plays, but now you're getting to the producing and directing. Is that a new passion, or has that passion always been there for you?
It's been there, but I've always known that I needed to learn, and I wanted to do my learning on the job. So working with great directors, great producers, you pick up a lot of the right way to do things, and working with some not so great directors and producers, you learn the things not to do. And with the directing particularly, I just directed a film called The Waterman, and that was something I learned from some really, really great directors along the way. But also just being on a set, you pick up things as you go along.
We were talking earlier when the camera's off about purpose and passion, and it really seems like, you know, you have a wife and 4 kids, but it seems like you're able to manage that really well.
We actually managed through kind of naivety, really, when we were, because we got married very, very young, to establish some rules that we kept. One being our 2-week rule. We're never apart for more than 2 weeks. We actually celebrate 21 years of marriage.
Congratulations.
Next month. Thank you. But that's something
that's like 80,000 years in LA, right?
In Hollywood, it's a million years. The reason why I say it was naive is that we didn't realize just how much work would have to go into doing that. But I'm glad we did it because it's a cornerstone in the foundation of our marriage.
Because you have so many things going on, what makes you say yes to a role?
Well, it's a great question because having a family, having priorities that are beyond and above what I do, which is something I really love, actually helps me really focus in the things I really want to do. Because if it doesn't pass the litmus test of, you know, is this going to fit with my family dynamic? You know, I'm a Christian as well, and so that's something that is very important to me in terms of, you know, what I put out in the world, being something that chimes with my belief, with my moral compass, with how I'm raising my children. So all of those things actually mean that you can get rid of a lot of the dross and really focus on the gems.
I love that. I absolutely love that. And I love that you seem to be able to transform from who you are to your characters. I mean, you obviously, I mean, the most obvious is you have to change your accent dramatically. But transforming yourself, is that attractive when accepting a role?
It is, because I'm always looking to challenge myself. I'm always looking to defy the audience's expectation. But growing up in the UK and starting in theatre, that is what I always loved about that medium, the fact that you go in there and do make-believe. But also, the actors that I really admire are chameleonic. You know, when you think of Meryl Streep or you think of Daniel Day-Lewis, that is the absolute height of what I do. And, you know, you just can't pin them down. You just don't know what they're going to do next, and that's what I always aspire to do.
When you run into an actor or a director that you look up to, are you able to open up in that kind of conversation and get advice?
Gosh, not initially. You know, those two actors I've just mentioned are huge heroes of mine. I actually did Lincoln with Daniel Day-Lewis, and I did not have any conversations with him. I was just like, you...
I don't think he had any conversations with anybody, even for the press junkets, you know, he didn't even show up.
That's true. He was Abe Lincoln for the whole shoot. So you'd be having a conversation with Abraham Lincoln, which would be weird. So that's why we didn't do that. I remember meeting Meryl Streep at an awards ceremony, and she came up to me, having seen a film that I'd done, to compliment me, and I just was so thrown. I just went, and that was the conversation.
I love it.
It takes a while for me to warm up with my heroes.
I love your background. Born in the UK, your parents are from Nigeria. You lived in Nigeria for a little bit.
Yes.
Went back to the UK and now the US.
Yes.
I mean, I feel like you've lived a full life already.
Yeah, you've done your research. Wow.
And your kids have grown up here, so do you get to bring them back to the UK often and see family? Yeah,
one of the great byproducts of my job is traveling the world, and you know, because of the 2-week rule, we end up traveling a lot together.
Yeah.
So they've been everywhere. They've done a lot of the African continent, a lot of Europe, a lot of the States, now even Australia. And I think that's a great thing, you know, living in America. It's such a big country, but to have an outward-looking attitude, I think, is really important. So, you know, my job enables us to do that with my family.
Well, I'm jealous of your kid's passport, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
And I read, are you teaming up with George Clooney soon?
Yes. We're about to do a film for Netflix. So we're about to go into deep space.
I feel like that's going to be some good conversations about experience and what to learn on the job.
Yeah, I admire him so much. You know, as another actor who's also directing and producing, I've always looked up to him, you know, in terms of what he's able to achieve. Because, you know, I think I read somewhere with him, and I feel the same with me, you don't know how long people are going to gravitate towards you on screen, but if you love telling stories and you can still do it behind the scenes and behind the camera, then that's something I want to keep on cultivating.
I love it. David, thank you so much for stopping by, and you guys go see Don't Let Go out in theaters August 30th.